All right, home stretch. We're near the end of our videos here. This is meant to be a helpful thing for you too, to have this at home. But obviously, if there's things that we don't cover in this video training that you're curious about, or things that you want to know more about, man, come to me. We want to work through that together. That's my job, is to help you understand and feel better equipped to work through that. But just to wrap up our video sessions here, I just want to talk through some normal things to expect from small groups and some ways to plan how you want to accomplish your small groups. Now, I'm going to talk through some ways that we've done small groups in the past, but I'm also going to talk about ways that you can maybe think about doing small groups in the future. And so be mindful of that as we move through this. Not everything has to stick, and so but there are some things that we want to try to stick to as much as we can. Now, schedule-wise, time frame and everything is up to you. You can choose when you want to hold your small group, what day of the week, if you want to do it on a Sunday afternoon, if you want to do it on a Tuesday morning, if you want to do it on a Thursday night, whatever you decide you want to do, it's really up to you. There are no restrictions on the time frame. The only thing that you want to keep in mind is when you expect the people to join your small group are going to be available. You don't want to do a small group on Tuesday morning if everybody that's going to be a part of your small group has to work on Tuesday morning. And so be mindful of that as you plan your times. In the past, what we've done is set up small groups, and then the small group kind of decides what time they want to meet. You can certainly do that. Or if you want to set a time, which I like this better, if you're able to give a time that works best for you, the small group leader, we can make that available as we do signups, and then individuals can choose what night works best for them in their schedule. I think that's a better option, obviously, if you do it that way. And so, scheduling, again, time frame is up to you, but we do have a time that we like to keep that meeting to, and so we don't want to go over much more than 2 hours. That's a little much for somebody to ask to be a part of a group. Really, the sweet spot there, if you include a meal or some kind of eating time, is about an hour and a half. And so that's kind of where we want you to be in, is an hour and a half. Hour is fine if you don't have a meal, but we're going to encourage you to have some kind of food or something that you share at these small group times. Typically what we have is small groups will lead off their meeting time with either a meal or some kind of like snack sharing that they do together. And so we're going to encourage that from you as well. Now, I'm going to say, don't take this on completely yourself. Don't allow the meal to become your sole responsibility, because we want people to feel like they need to share responsibility to have that. And so spread that out amongst your group. Allow people to take that on. And you may do a sign-up sheet week to week. Who's going to bring snacks? We've had group leaders in the past that have done it completely themselves, and that is totally fine if you want to do that. But I'm going to encourage you to spread that out a little bit. Not only does it help you financially, but also helps people kind of bear the load of responsibility for what to bring. Also, one common question that we get about small groups is, what do I do with the children? How do we handle childcare in our small group? Well, what we do normally is the group kind of decides that on their own. It's up to you how you handle that as a group. And so we've done all kinds of different things in the past, all kinds of ways that we've had childcare happen. People have done it themselves. They kind of rotated. So like one couple might take the kids this week and so on and so forth. We've had people hire our teens to come and help babysit, to come help serve in that way and help take care of the kids. And that may be an option for you. We've also had people schedule their small group times during our regular children's programming. And so that gets your kids into the program that we already have here at Rich Acres. And man, that's a great program they can be a part of. But it also helps you have the time scheduled in a way that gets people in your small group and makes it not a difficulty for them to do that. And so we can work through that. That's part of what we'll do together, is to kind of work through how you're going to handle childcare and what it's going to look like for you. So I don't want you to stress so much about that side of it, but just want to bring that to your attention. You may also be thinking about resources. How am I going to teach my small group? What are we going to talk about? What are the things that we're going to cover in this time that we have together? Let me just say that's an open book. There's a lot of things that you can cover. You may have some topics that you're really interested in that you want to cover as a small group leader. Man, if that's you, we can talk through that, and I can find you some resources that help fill that topic and kind of follow that guideline. But we also have here on this site that you're watching these videos on, there are a ton of video resources that cover a wide range of topics that we can use for our small group times. And so you can look through those. You have full access to this website, and so you can look through those and see some things that maybe I would love to do a study through this book, or I'd love to do a study about this topic. That's certainly fine to do that. But my job is to help resource you. And so if you have no idea what you want to do, you're completely clueless, you don't know any topics that are speaking to you, man, I'll help find some resources for you and help get you through that process that you can be a part of how to handle that. But as we're kind of wrapping this up, I just want to kind of talk through the actual normal stuff that's going to happen during a class time, and then maybe talk about some things that you might not consider and you would do differently. Normally, what a small group time would look like is we have that meal at the beginning, then we move into a time of teaching. If you're gonna teach your topic, if say that you have a video that you want to show during your small group, that's kind of be when that would fit in. And then we want to leave a good amount of time during that small group for discussion. Because the idea of a small group is not for you to teach a class, it's for you guys to have a conversation and you guys to grow closer together through that conversation. And so you may feel as though your topic is too broad to cover, independently during the week, and you need to take some time to kind of cover that stuff during the week. Or you may have a video, like I said, that you're going to show during your small group time. But we want to make sure we leave time in that small group time for discussion, because that's when the real growth happens, is when you're having those conversations together. Now, usually we end after that discussion time, and so whenever that kind of ends up, we leave them open-ended because some people would like to stay. But remember, as a small group leader, you want to control your boundaries also. I mean, you have families, you got things you got to do the next day, and so don't be afraid to say, hey, we're ending at 8, and that's when we're ending, because I think people will respect you if you have boundaries for that. But maybe you're a person that you say, I don't want to stick to that model. I don't want to have that specific come to my house and we'll be here for an hour and a half and leave. We're open to moving into different organizational ideas for small groups. We like the pieces, so I think you should keep the pieces. So a meal or sharing food and then a discussion time. Those are the big pieces we want to have for a small group. But you may say, hey, I'm retired, and everybody that's going to be a part of my small group is retired. We're going to meet on Tuesday morning and have breakfast and talk through those things. That's perfectly fine. I think that's a great way for a small group to meet. But you may say, man, I'm 30-something with kids, like I said, and that's just not going to work for me. And so I need to meet in a structured time and have that. Man, we want to leave that open-ended to you. And that's part of the process that we'll talk through as we kind of move through this together. And so, again, I've said it at the end of every video that we've gone through in this training. I just want to say thank you for your willingness to step out in faith and allow God to use you. And none of us are going to be perfect in this. None of us are going to do this exactly right. But I believe that if we put our heart in the place of God, if we allow God to lead our heart, is what I mean. If we allow God to design our desires in a way that follow what He has planned for us, man, I believe God's going to do great things through these small groups. And so I'm just going to ask that you pray in the next weeks, the next couple months, as we prep for this next coming semester, that you would feel God move in you, you would feel God equipping you and strengthening you to lead in this powerful way. Thank you again for being a part of our small groups. I'm so grateful and so excited to work with you.